I grew up in Texas in the 40s and 50s, and the world has become very strange to me. I think America's gone off the rails. I think the world is becoming more dangerous. I think the concept we have of what kind of life we want is shallow and stupid. I think we need to make a big change in the way we live, in the way we relate to each other, to animals, and to nature. I think unless we make some very basic changes that go all the way down into our hearts, we're in big trouble. And what is obvious is people are in pain, people are suffering, people don't know what to do. The political situation in the US is crazy. It's just nuts. How did how did this happen? It, how did an insane how did a criminal become president? How why did the American people get fooled by somebody so obviously a charlatan? America is kind of leading the march into the swamp. And what we need is people with vision. We need people who have a sense of relationship to nature and to other people, people with empathy, people who actually care, who are capable of caring. And I'm sorry, we just don't have that. And we have conditioned people. We bring them from childhood up to think about their own fates, and they frame it in terms of money. They frame it in terms of social success. Um, a lot is going to have to change. The the problem is these threads are cultural threads of thought and feeling that go back in time, go back in history. America may have a constitution that tried to finesse a lot of these cruel ways of being and tried to fend off the criminals that they knew would appear. And yet they could not imagine somebody who is demented, who is senile, who is a professional criminal, who cannot care about other people. They couldn't imagine that Americans would put somebody like that at the top of the government, and give and hand that person incredible power. They couldn't even imagine the extent of the power that this country was going to develop over 200 years. And if they could have, they might have tried to keep it uh, within bounds. They did try, but um, one thing you cannot do is enforce the law if people don't care about it. If enough people are just shrug and say, "I don't care. I'm too busy." Well, okay. That's how the criminals take over. Um, is that what we want? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think that the amount of suffering, the amount of pain that's being created completely unnecessarily right now in the United States, of all places, it's just, it's mind-boggling. You just, where did this come from? All right. This is not something I usually talk about. I usually talk about creativity and spirituality and things like that. But really, I mean, when when you just glance at the news, you can't help but just feel appalled at what the world is rapidly becoming just because of one idiot. All right, I'm going to let it go.